What happens when you get a new client? Hey there, I'm Brighton, the CPA marketing mentor, and I help accountants simplify their marketing and communications so they can grow their accounting, bookkeeping, and financial planning businesses without wasting time and money. As an accounting firm, it's important to have a clear, concise onboarding process for new clients. This ensures that your firm can provide the best possible service on a consistent basis and avoid any potential misunderstandings or problems down the road. In this video, I'll walk through and outline a few things that I would consider when implementing your client onboarding process. The first is establishing expectations out the gate. By outlining your pricing structure, how you bill, when you bill, and being clear and upfront about what to expect along the way can go a long way in actually minimizing the tough conversations that you may actually have to have in the future. One way to simplify this process is to create a pricing sheet. One thing that I've learned working with accounting firms is that there is an ingrained focus on billable hours within the industry, and this can be really intimidating for clients. Instead of focusing on what you have to say or the advice that you're actually giving, they're looking at their watch and they're looking at their phone, wondering how much is this meeting actually going to cost me? We've created a pricing sheet for one of our clients for their bookkeeping business. Not only did we outline the pricing for that bookkeeping business, but we also actually created 4 different packages for those clients. So it was incredibly clear where each client fit into which package, how much they would be paying monthly, and it was really easy for the client to understand how much they would be paying on a monthly or yearly basis. The second thing to consider is gathering information right out of the gate and systematizing the gathering of that information. You're likely already gathering some client information when they first walk through the door and have a bit of an intake process, but formalizing that is incredibly important. Your firm is likely going to need the client's contact information, the business information, accounting history, and so on. And the best way to do this is to create a form, ideally a digital form, that your client or you can fill out during or prior to the meeting that you actually have with them. Logging this information into a centralized CRM or client management software like Microsoft Dynamics can be really impactful in ensuring that all of your client information is stored in one place. This client intake form should be used every single time. I know a lot of accounting firms are very familiar with Office 365 and the Microsoft software, and Microsoft Forms is a really great way to integrate your software and your client intake information as well as Dynamics or your client management software. Allowing them to talk to each other is a really great way to ensure that even in the future, that if your client needs to update information, that they can go through the same form and that form can actually update their client profile in Dynamics. The third thing to think about is setting up a consistent file structure. When you first get a new client, it's important to set up files and accounting systems for them as soon as possible. And this will allow you to track their financial progress from day one and ensure that everything is kept organized and in order. I'm all about creating templates and standardizing process. Not only does it keep things clean and simple, but it honestly is also scalable. Depending on the software that you use, you may be able to simply click one button and create a whole client file with all of its subfolders already in it. There was a great book by Tygo Forte called Building a Second Brain, and you can find a link to that book in the description, but what he actually shares is a categorization and an organization system that is an exceptional way of keeping you organized and allowing you to keep your creative wits about you. One of the concepts that he shares in this book at a really high level is called PARA, which stands for Projects, Areas, Resources, and Archives. The way that you might organize your client files using PARA would be you start with a client file, and it would be your client's name. And then inside that folder, you would have subfolders for projects, resources, and archive. In the projects folder, for example, you might have another folder that is the current personal tax year or the business year end, and maybe a business valuation folder, because those are all projects underneath that client that are active, that you're actively working on in that year. Then in the resources folder, you would drop in any information that you may stumble upon that may be relevant to that particular client, but maybe not any particular project. Or maybe you have your client intake form for that client in that folder as well, so you can refer back to it in the future. These resource files are files that you may want to refer back to in the future, but are not really associated with any particular project. Then the archive is where you would move all previous tax years so that they still exist in your system, but are out of sight, so they aren't cluttering up your actual projects file. Forte goes into much greater detail than I just did about how to create a second brain, but that is a really simple example of how you can create a new file system for a new client when they're onboarded. The fourth thing I want to bring up may sound a little unorthodox, but I find it to be one of the most exciting and important, which is creating and sending a welcome package to new clients. One thing that I love to see is when service-based businesses offer a gift or a welcome package when you begin working with them. There is something about paying money for something and getting a physical object in return that makes you feel like you actually had a great exchange in value. This isn't to say that what you actually do for your clients isn't valuable. That's not what I'm saying at all, but because I know for a fact it is what you do for your clients is incredibly valuable. Just the way the human brain works is that when you're holding something, it carries a different weight, no real pun intended, than a service. A nicely packaged welcome kit with some branded swag, welcome booklet, handwritten card, or anything that your clients may actually find useful is a wonderful way to say thank you for doing business with us and make your clients feel special and appreciated. You can't underestimate the power of gratitude. I'm just going to show you a really quick example of the welcome package and the box that we have created to send our welcome package in to our clients. We're a marketing consulting firm, ultimately is what we do. And all of our services are services. We don't really have any physical products. So when we sign on a new client, they get one of these. They get an At Heart branded welcome box. I'm not going to tell you what we put in the box, but I'll show you what the box is because I don't want to give any of the surprise away. So in this box, this box actually opens up and says, hello, here is something straight from the heart. Little cheeky, and we fill it with things that are fun, branded a little bit, but also something that makes a client feel appreciated and welcome and special. And there is just something about opening a box and seeing what's inside and the mystique around that package that goes a long way in making your client feel appreciated and excited to do business with you. So that is a super quick example of how you can start to maybe think about putting together a welcome package for your clients. Now, the last thing that I want to speak to is the importance of training your staff on onboarding new clients. If you have more than one person in your firm other than you, it is imperative that you have a flushed out onboarding process and you actually train it to your staff and your team to implement the exact same way every single time you onboard a new client. Make sure all members of your accounting team are familiar with the onboarding process and the specific needs of each new client. This will help ensure a smooth transition and prevent any miscommunication from happening. Everybody knows what to expect. Everybody knows what to do. There's no questioning. Not to mention, it builds your reputation with your clients right off the bat as a well-oiled machine that knows exactly what they are doing and that they're going to take the same care with your tax, bookkeeping, and financial needs as they did with the onboarding experience. They know what to expect. You have created that reputation as somebody that knows what they're doing. They've got their system in place and they can trust you with their financial needs. Another amazing business book that's been talked about for years and years and years and years is The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. If you haven't read this book, it's another great one, and you can grab it on Amazon by visiting the link in the description below as well. When it comes to accounting firms, having a clear and well-defined onboarding process for new clients is essential for a number of reasons. Not only does it help your team members be better prepared to serve each new client, but it also helps build trust with your potential and current clients by demonstrating that you are professional and organized. Thanks so much for watching. If you're interested in more content just like this, be sure to subscribe, ring that bell, and hit that like button if you found this video helpful. And leave in the comments below what you would include in your welcome package to your new clients. I'd be interested to know. I'll see you next time.